what's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
Listen, all of you out there, I need you to know podcasting is not the way. All right? If we keep podcasting at the rate that we are going to destroy ourselves. So I'm begging you, please stop podcasting. And my name is Diggins.
This is mostly nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's fine. I feel like I'm not gonna be able to do this until I get into a dangerous area and then podcast. But for now, it's like,
oh my gosh, you guys, everybody's trying to be the Katniss when we're really a podcast of pitas at best.
Oh, I was being PETA.
Please. I'm
I guess that. Oh, yeah, that's right. You were PETA. I couldn't tell if you were doing that or if there was. I couldn't remember. Yeah, you're right. That is PETA. So DJ is.
I'm Katniss.
DJ's Katniss.
Guys.
Okay.
Well, DJ, you being Katniss while I'm being PETA isn't going to help the conspiracy theorists.
Hey.
Yeah, this week
Very
we're doing
exciting.
Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 of 2. We're going to do the next one next week. We're going to do part 2 eventually. For people that were confused on the Discord, someone asked this question. We're going to do both of them separately because they made that the movies. I don't know if you guys saw that.
They are two different movies, as a matter of fact.
And the director today of these, because like you said, he's doing Songbirds and Snakes, came out and said this was a mistake. Splitting them up. He said that like yesterday. Yeah, I think so too. It's wild though that he said that. And I'm like, did you know that before, or is this something that only time has taught you, you know?
I feel like this was definitely a studio mandate for money and not like him being like, the book is simply too big. We have to do 2 movies.
Yeah, honestly, looking at like how much stuff this one has and like them together, I'm not surprised, but I guess I'm kind of impressed at the amount of like juice they managed to squeeze out of this thing.
Hell yeah.
It seems like it compared to the other movies, I'm like, if this book is the same amount, the director really worked with what he had and turned this into 2 movies. So good for him.
We are sucking on like dry pulp at the end. That is how dire things get.
Speaking of that, we got to talk about the news this week. I don't know if you guys saw this news. This was, I guess like this part of it was kind of everywhere, may have permeated your, the social bubbles or whatever. But I don't know if the whole story got through. Did either of you guys see the Marvel news this week?
I did not.
So I'm sure you saw that there's the book that came out, the Joanna Robinson of The Ringer.
Yes.
And Dave Gonzalez and somebody else I can't remember the name of wrote about the MCU, which I'm currently reading, but it's longer than I expected, so I'm still working on it. But one of the like
you're used to your slim Paul Rudd Ant-Man novels.
Yeah, I'm used to like these really nice double-spaced like 100-page books that are, full of pictures, and this one doesn't have any pictures in it. But they have instead words, and one of the words that wasn't in the book, but they came out after, she just kind of casually threw out, is they're not making a Wonder Man show anymore. They just don't want to.
Ugh, jerks.
Good for them, man. They're just not doing stuff,
Listen, do I think a Wonder Man show could have been fun? Sure. Do I think any amount of cutting back on the things they're doing is good news at this point? Yes.
Yeah, I do think this could have been one of the more fun ones, honestly. Like, looking at some of the other ones that they've greenlit or that are, like, in the same stage of production as this, in, like, the kind of almost filmed it or, like, filmed some of it, but not all of it. Like, I think, like, Falcon, whatever, Captain America Brave New World will probably be fine, but I feel like it'll probably just be, like, another, kind of Avengers Captain America movie. But I feel like Wonder Man could have been pretty funny, like a little kind of taking some shots at the superhero movie genre thing.
If that's what that is, like, I don't know. I think the lack of the Marvel, like everything shows movies to like distinguish themselves as individual things has been harmful, and it just seems like there's no identity anymore. Like Guardians was like the last thing I feel like. Besides that, it's all just been kind of like a bland paste, you know?
I mean, to be fair, that was one thing ago. I guess two if you count Loki, but like it's pretty recent.
But it's also that goes as James Gunn goes, you know? Like we're not getting like more of that stuff. That's kind of over.
What if he taught all of his lessons to Sean Gunn, and Sean Gunn is just like kind of gonna do all the James Gunn stuff at Marvel, and the Gunns will take over the whole thing?
That would be so great.
Be great.
And very unlikely.
If there's one thing that news in other realms of our culture has taught me, it's that a group of people you could call the Young Guns are always successful in their field.
Damn right.
Now, I do think the Wonder Man thing is interesting because they had already cast it and apparently started filming it, but it did get kind of upended by the writer's strike and then the actor strike and all that. I wonder if it would have been made without it. But it is crazy that they're still doing that actor strike. And by crazy that they're still doing it, it's crazy that it still exists. Not that they're still doing it, but
crazy that after they realized they couldn't fight back on the writers, they're like, this one we're going to win though.
Right. Yeah. Now we got all the writers. We're pretty much good, right? That's all you need for these. Just, we'll I don't know, have animals do the writing or do the acting parts. Every movie will be homeward bound, but with no human voices. It'd be pretty good.
They'll just be like, okay, so the writers, they're like, you can't do AI writing, and I guess that's true, but we can totally do AI acting.
Well, have you seen that clip that's going around to that Disney Channel show or something?
Oh my God, yeah.
Terrifying.
What is
do you know what we're talking about?
No, I do not.
I don't know where I could find it. Besides, I put a clip of it in one of my recent videos. So that honestly might be the easiest way to get it, for me at least. But there's a clip going around from some sort of like, I don't know.
It's like Disney Channel original movie or something.
Okay.
Yeah, the scene it's from is a basketball game, I want to say, or something like that. And there's kids like clapping and cheering in the background of the shot. And then they, at one point, it seems like these are background actors, but they cut to a close up of these kids doing the clapping and cheering bit.
Yeah.
And what they've done is, it seems like some of them were real, but most of them are fake CGI people.
Well, I don't like that.
Terrifying.
They look very bad.
Like genuinely, like so upsetting. I'm trying to find, like, I can't remember which video it's in that I just put out because I made two. They could have covered this, but I'll try to find this.
Oh, look at Nando and his humble brags. Like, oh, I put out so many videos. I can't possibly remember what's in my most recent ones because there's so many of them.
I know. They all just blend
Diggins,
right together, you know?
I don't know that Nando did get COVID.
That's right. I'm heroically tricking everybody so I can even work more. That's the American way. The only thing more American than that is to get COVID and then keep working. That's the most American way to exist.
That proves that you care about your country, is if you're willing to irreparably harm yourself so that a couple stock points can move further up.
Exactly.
I mean, how else are we going to get out of this, $2 trillion of debt? There's no other way,
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I give up. I cannot find this thing. But, well, you know what? Actually, I did download this at one point because I have it for my thing. So I can show it to you or whatever. It's terrifying. It's it's really bad. All right, I'm gonna share it. But while I do that, if you guys had to pick one Marvel project to cancel in the future, which one would you pick? Any of the ones that's upcoming, and make sure
honestly,
it's one.
At this point, Daredevil.
Oh well, that lucky you. They may not make it anyway. We'll see. That one's so on the bubble, it's not even funny. Oh, well, that's the one that they canceled. Like they apparently shoved, or not shoved, like trashed everything that they had worked on already because he didn't put the suit on quickly enough for Kevin Feige. So they're gonna try to make it again.
Well, I guess my wish will come true then.
Yeah.
So I can only pick one?
You can only pick one, yeah. I mean, listen, the other ones may crumble and fall on their own, but this is one you get to destroy. Like, you can wipe this from existence.
I mean, does it have to be distant, or can I cancel something that's supposed to happen soon?
Like next week? I mean, you're welcome to try.
But further than next week.
Oh, which one is that?
I mean, take your pick between Echo and Ironheart.
I mean, like Echo, that was one of the things that what's her name said. Joanna Robinson said in the interview. Her name is Joanna Robinson, right? I'm not crazy.
You are correct, yeah. Joanna Robinson.
Okay. Everybody that has the last name Robinson, I hear in the voice of the vampires from the Vampire Show. And I'm like, because that's what Colin Robinson's name is. And I don't know what it is about that last name that I'm like, that can't be a real person's last name, even though it's a very common last name. But yeah, also I found the clip. I'm going to put it in the messages. So this is the clip from that Disney Channel, whatever, where it's just a couple seconds and you watch it on a loop and you'll notice it. But Joanna Robinson was like, they asked her, what projects are you excited for? Which ones are you not excited for? The excited for one, she said, was Agatha Coven of Chaos, because she's like, I think they got something there. And also, I just really like Catherine Hahn doing her thing. And the one she's not excited for is Echo, because they were going to dump it all on Thanksgiving without telling anybody. So it's never been an amazing sign. And I agree. DJ, did you see the thing? It's in the Riverside chat.
Oh,
yeah.
Let me see.
If I could pick something to cancel, it would probably be... See, part of me wants Ironheart to be good because I like the one character that's going to be in it that we haven't really talked about too much. And I don't think it's a spoiler, but I'm not going to really get into it. Honestly, I'd cancel Kang Dynasty, one of the really Kang heavy Avengers movie. Just go straight to Secret Wars or something, because the Kang of it all is very, very confusing these days. Made only more confusing by Loki. So DJ, what do you think? Those are all real teenagers, right?
Fucking the
That's
one
what it looks like.
The one to the far right and the ones in the second row all look like they're in a video game.
Yeah, like that King Kong video game.
Yeah,
they're the bad guys in it.
Not like from the new Spider-Man game, from like a PS2 title that was made in 3 weeks.
It's truly terrifying.
Oh, this is not good.
No, it's not good. And like the crazy part to me is that not that they thought they could do that. I guess the crazy part is how inconsequential of a shot that is, that they're like, let's put some AI in this for just some random shot of kids clapping. Like, just don't put that shot in at all. We don't need it. We'll believe the kids are clapping if we hear them. It's not like this is some really big crowd shot that's really important where Iron Man flies by and you need a lot of people or something. It's just like some random, whatever. But also, they pulled out all the stops, got all the technology going, and then that's what we got.
Is it better that the animators have to make this? Like, that feels worse, I gotta say. Like just get the guys. Why are you making the
for
animators
sure
do this?
I mean, extra work. It's not the best work, but it's honest work for actors and stuff. And I think there was an interview, I don't remember which interview this was, where like Ben Affleck and either Ben Affleck or Matt Damon was saying like they were doing extra work and that's why they were able to afford to write Good Will Hunting and stuff. And without that, they never would have been able to, be successful in Hollywood. So, right. that could have been our next, Quentin Tarantino clap it instead of that little computer person. So look at what we may have missed.
Yeah. And
I'm looking at the slate now to answer your question, Blade. I'm very worried about that Blade movie.
Ooh, yeah.
And I, as much as I love the originals, I have, I'm not. I don't know. I remember there was a rumor that he was going to fight Dracula in it. I was like, if we're starting with Dracula, I don't like that one bit. Dracula's got to be last.
But we have
to build up to Dracula.
Yeah.
But But we have to see Blade interact with the Black Knight. We got to see him hang out with
That's
Jon
right.
Snow.
Yeah. So, do you think in the Blade movie that Black Knight will be just off screen saying things the whole time?
Yeah, right.
I actually looked into this because I did my Midnight Suns video, and I was like, where were these characters all supposed to show up next? And apparently someone asked Jon Snow, they were like, well, where are you going to be in Blade? And he's like, I really don't know. They told me maybe or something. People keep telling me I might be, but they haven't asked me yet, so I'm just kind of playing it, playing it by ear. I'm winging it.
Wow.
But that one
Incredible.
did get rewritten a couple of times, so I would be surprised if there was a version of the script with him in it, and then they went like, listen, we will call you the day you have to shoot and not a moment sooner, so don't get your hopes up.
And perhaps not even then.
Yeah, and even then we may not use that bit, so it's pretty wild.
Everyone's got to see the Marvel movie for everyone's new favorite snap card.
I mean, listen,
it's how it's dictated now.
The Blade Black Knight synergy is great. Those two cards together work really well. So it's like,
great.
Especially because he now cuts the card on the right. Like if you get anyway, speaking of synergies,
wait. You don't want to make another? Is that a tease maybe for another Nando V Movies Marvel Snap video?
I'm gonna make a video where I watch that Regis Kilbin video and just be like, yeah, this is a good deck. I like this deck. Not long to it. It's got me right into Infinite. Thank you very much.
Nando V Movies is pivoting to doing reaction videos.
That's right. It's where the money is, baby.
But all your reactions are just like, oh yeah, okay.
I'd be like that guy that like goes and gets a soda or something while the reaction video's going on. Everyone gets mad at him. I don't know any of these people's names, but this happened recently. But speaking of people reacting to things poorly and maybe better reactions later, but in the beginning you're like, that person's not reacting very well. We got to talk about this week's movie of the week, Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. The first part of the Hunger Games Mockingjay saga, the 2-part saga in the 4-part saga of the Hunger Games. You guys, this is a big one. This is 2014, directed by Francis Lawrence. Wait, what? Is he related to Jennifer Lawrence? Hold on a second.
Oh no, are we breaking a conspiracy right here live on stream?
Love it.
So no relation to Jennifer Lawrence, although they have worked together in 4 movies, the 3 of these that he did and that Red Sparrow movie. Interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, so Francis Lawrence is the director of this, and like we said, he's the someone said this in the Discord. Who's the name of the Harry Potter guy that's this? David Yates, is that his name?
Yeah, I think so.
Who
sounds right.
Just became the stock director for these. Yeah, so he's
you say someone said it in the Discord. Many people told us.
That's true. Yeah, a couple people. I saw it once and was like, whoops, and then it kept coming up. And we love you, Discord people. Keep correcting us. It's the only way we'll learn. But
True.
But yeah, that's
a lie, Nando. We'll never learn.
That's fair. This is the second Francis Lawrence production. And yeah, part 3 of 4 in this Hunger Games saga. I don't know. It's got a cavalcade of stars, some new, some old, some pretty surprising. Yeah, we got to start with the IMDb game, you guys, which it's been so long. I can't even remember how they got the summary, but I'll try to remember.
I believe in you.
Because, the crazy thing about the summary is, back in the days of old, there were a bunch of witches that would periodically on the lunar calendar, I assume, get together and make a big circle and light a bunch of candles and stuff, and they would summon the IMD Beast, which was a big monster that destroyed the Box Office Mojo website, and periodically would come to prune the Box Office Mojo website and make it worse. And while the IMD Beast was there, it would just exist, but when it disappeared, the floor or whatever surface it went back into would be filled with runes that would be interpreted by the witches later, and those turned out to be the summaries for each movie that would come out in between the summonings of the beast. So the IMD beast would come down, you would interpret it, you would say, oh, this goes for this movie, this goes to this movie, and then one lunar cycle later it would all happen again. So I guess somewhere in probably November of 2014, when the IMD beast came out, this was the summary that it gave for Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. And let me tell you, because sometimes we know what the witches say, and like we're like, that is way to go. And sometimes we're like, I think these witches are the kind of witches who just got into witchcraft for the hats and stuff like that, and they don't really know how to read the markings of the IMD beast. I think this one's okay. I think these are some good witches.
Okay.
Like, I mean, honestly, it's been a while since I've seen one of these summaries. I've heard it because I haven't won in a while, but I think this is one of our better ones.
Okay.
And yeah, just give it a shot. I don't know who goes first.
Diggins.
All right, great. So
yeah, because I was robbed last week. Brutally, cruelly, unfairly, as some people might say. Other people might point out that they did the math, and DJ's first hint that Nando's guess was closer in time than my guess was actually incorrect.
Come on now.
Wow, really?
But, whatever.
Really making this easy for me, huh, Diggins?
Hey.
No, but give it a shot, or don't. Who would you like to go first or second?
I actually would like DJ to go first because I have no idea what I'm gonna say.
Probably smart. All right, DJ, give me 1 second to reread this.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't say it's long, but it's like, I don't know, 2 sentences. So let me make sure I get all the big ones. All right. Whenever you're ready.
Goodness gracious. Okay. Coming off the fallout of the 75th Hunger Games, Katniss must rally all of the remaining districts to rise up against the Capitol, while attempting to Katniss was attempt to rally the people with inspiring messages, while Peeta is being held captive at the Capitol, being forced to tell everyone to stand down.
Okay. Diggins.
All right. After her rescue from the Quarter Quell, Katniss is now in District 13, the heart of the rebellion against the Capitol. They want her. They ask her to become the Mockingjay, the face of the rebellion, but she remains concerned with Peeta, who is still in the Capitol's clutches.
This is tough.
Because we both did such a bad job.
You both got parts of it.
We always do.
I'll say there were some really specific phrases that I actually think are pretty good that neither of you got. So I want to take a shot at this because this is DJ's usual tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think, honestly, like, who won this? I think either of you could have won this. It kind of depends on which individual thing I like, because you both probably got the same amount of things. I think people who listen back will be like, oh, that thing was more important, and we disagree about that. But yeah, there's 2 phrases in here. I'm gonna give you like the lead up for them.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna do the first one. I'm gonna give you both 2 guesses to see if you can get this. If you can't, then we'll move on to the second one. And I'll tell you'll each go, and then I'll say if you got it. And if you're close, I'll even count that. But I do think these are kind of one of the things that I like about this summary is it's kind of flowery language. And this one I think is a good example of that.
So the first flowery enough.
The first sentence is Katniss Everdeen is in District 13 after she blank. It's a couple of words. Yeah, how does the IMDb summary describe this?
It's like flowery language. Ooh, I have a guess.
Diggins, do you want to go first or second?
DJ can go first if he's got a guess.
That's true.
Change the shape of Pan Am.
It's way more than 2 words, but okay.
Oh no, I said a few.
Yeah, I thought,
Yeah, you're that was a reasonable, like that was what I expected.
Okay.
In terms of size. Diggins?
Electrified the world.
Love it. Neither of those are it, but those you're in the ballpark. Like you got the gist of it. DJ, would you like to try again?
Oh, okay. So can you read the lead up again?
Katniss Everdeen is in District 13 after she blank.
Okay. After she destroyed the Hunger Games.
All right. I got one. After she shocked audiences across Pan Am.
Okay. DJ's was closest, but I still don't think he got it. The floweriness of it that I think is like why it's special. I'm going to tell you what this is, and then we're going to do the other one.
All right.
Katniss, this is what it reads. Katniss Everdeen is in District 13 after she shatters the games forever. Like how she
never would have guessed
thing.
that in
I know.
gajillion years.
This next one is a little bit more like left to center, but I actually think it's kind of fun. I'm going to give you the whole second sentence because it's 2 sentences. So that's the first one. Then I'm going to leave this bit out. Under the leadership of President Coin and the advice of her trusted friends, Katniss blanks as she fights to save PETA and a nation moved by her courage. What does Katniss do?
Is it a word?
No, it's another one of these kind of like phrases.
Katniss blanks
as she fights to save PETA and a nation moved by her courage. Okay. DJ, Katniss, would you like to go first or
Katniss
second?
Katniss. I got it. Katniss finds her voice.
Diggins.
That's pretty good, honestly. I don't know, something like Katniss becomes the face of the rebellion.
That's good.
Neither of those are correct, but again, you're both in the you're in the ballpark. You're playing the game. I'll give you guys 2 more guesses on this one because I do think this one you might get it. And again, flowery,
flowery. Okay.
DJ, what does Katniss do?
As she fights to save Katniss. Okay. Can you tell me what your guess was?
I said becomes the face of the rebellion.
Okay. Katniss rallies the nation.
Diggins.
Katniss touches the hearts of the people.
That's really good.
Nah, it's even more flowery than that.
Okay.
Gosh.
DJ, would you like to take another shot?
You're looking for like verbatim in the ball.
I mean, if you get close, if you get in the neighborhood, I'll know it. Like I'll be like, that's it.
I don't know. Diggins sounds like he has one.
I want you to go first because I don't want Diggins to influence yours. If he does,
is this the last guess?
If either of you guys is really on the hunt, maybe we'll do it again. But right now, I'd say this is the last one.
Katniss. Katniss becomes the leader she was meant to be.
Katniss spreads her wings and learns to fly.
Absolutely right. She spreads her wings. That is,
yes,
that's the flowery language.
Yes.
So Diggins, you got it.
How?
Very good.
I must understand. How, Diggins? How did you do it?
Well, because the movie is Mockingjay, which is a bird.
Yeah, and she spreads her wings in the second one with the dress. That's the whole thing. So I'll read it the whole thing, but obviously we know what it is. But yeah, Katniss Everdeen is in District 13 after she shatters the games forever. Under the leadership of President Coin and the advice of her trusted friends, Katniss spreads her wings as she fights to save PETA and a nation moved by her courage. So yeah, in the original one, you both kind of got some bits of it. Diggins had District 13, but DJ called it the games. He called it the quarter quell. There were a lot of like 1 and 2 kind of trading off for it. And then but yeah, Diggins, you got spread her wings, which is very impressive. So DJ, as the loser, you get to recap the events of the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Give me some grace here, guys. Okay. All right. So Katniss has horrible PTSD after all the fuckiness that happened with destroying the Hunger Games and fighting out with the Resistance and
shattering the games forever or something.
Shattering the games forever. I think that's what we just learned. Yeah.
That's what she did. And having Peeta been kidnapped and it's all bad. And we meet a new character. We meet President Coin. She's like the leader of the Resistance in District 13, who's working with Plutarch Heavensby.
That's right. What is Coin's first name? Do you guys remember? I can't remember.
I don't.
I want to say Amalia.
That sounds right. Yeah. They all have such interesting names. And I'm like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, it's Alma Coin.
Alma Coin. Get Alma Coin over here.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Is this another ancient Roman thing, or is that?
Well, no, only the capital people are ancient Romans.
That's true. Yeah.
I just like that.
Alma Coin. No, I mean, that may be what they thought about. Like, that may be what they came up with for that.
If she was a very greedy or concerned with material wealth character, I'd be like, yeah, that's a very ominous name, but that's really not her deal at all.
Yeah.
So Katniss, she meets them, and basically they're like, this is you now. All the districts, they're rising up, they're fucking shit up, and what we need you to be our Mockingjay. You're the face of the rebellion. We're going to use propaganda to inspire everyone.
Excuse me, DJ. Yeah, use its proper term.
Propo?
The propos.
Yeah, we are propos.
They couldn't get the rights to propaganda, apparently. Something.
So weird. And she's like, no, fuck you people. You're supposed to rescue Peeta and all the other people. You rescued me. I hate you. Fuck you. I'm not helping. But then we see some of the capitals of their own propo featuring Peeta, and he's interviewing our guy, the Tooch, who is not in this movie enough. Too little Tooch in this movie. Tooch little, I say.
That's true.
And basically, Peeta's like, guys, stop fighting. Rebellion's bad. No, it's not. We can't have this rebellion anymore. It's very bad. And then all the District 13 people are like, what? This is bullshit. Traitor, blah, blah. And Katniss is like, something's wrong. Oh, by the way, Katniss is hanging out a lot with Gale, because Gale's part of the rebellion. So I just want to kind of put that in the background for now. Okay, so then Katniss goes back to the Coin and Plutarch and goes, okay, I'll do it. I'll be your Mockingjay. But in exchange, you have to rescue Peeta when you can. And all the other tributes and everyone, they all get full amnesty, no punishment. They're all free to go. And Coin says, fuck you. And then Plutarch's like, no, please, we need her. And then she's like, fine, we can do that.
I think, real quick, I don't want to totally skip this.
Yeah.
There is another absolute star in this movie that just casually gets introduced very early.
Are you talking about the cat?
Is the reason why this is
but
Nando's
a wonderful
favorite
cat.
movie.
Yeah, but no, another star, another just A-lister above most of these people now in terms of like the profile, which is so funny because they play such a supporting role.
You're talking about the actual star who's introduced in this movie.
Yes, I am. I'm talking about, and we get a couple like people in this movie who are like more famous now than they were then. But there's one who I'm like, when I saw him, I was like, you were in this?
Oh, of course. A good old Blade himself.
That's right.
Good old Mahershala. Yes.
Someday. Yeah. The voice of Blade, at least.
Yes. he is Coin's head of security. So he's popping up, all over the place doing different things.
It's Boggs is his name.
Boggs. Yes. Head of security. And he's just kind of around. Like, I probably won't mention him for the rest of the summary, and that feels accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just like whenever Katniss is doing something, imagine that Mahershala Ali is slightly to the left being like, I'm going to make sure you're safe and then not do anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Katniss agrees, and then Plutarch is like, all right, we got the studio set up. We got it's not a green screen. It's like a dome that they could put images on. And they're like, all right, Katniss, here's your character's direction. The rebels just stormed a whatever, and there's a huge victory, and you need to tell everyone that we did great. And the problem is, guys, you're not going to believe it. Katniss is a terrible actor. She just can't act. So she's trying to be like, come on, everyone, let's go. And they're like, she sucks. She's so bad at this. And then, you know who comes back, guys? You know, not a new star, but a recurring star. Good old Hamsley.
Is this real? Is this not a bit you're doing?
I can't remember.
I wish his name was Hamsley. He looks like a Hamsley. If you were like, there's a Hamsley in this movie, you'd be like, yeah, well, I remember what's his name was Plutarch Hamsley, so it's not him. Oh, Woody Harrelson, that's right. Very much so, please.
So Haymitch is back. They don't say his name a lot. There's just a lot of you, him.
He seems like the kind of person that I could convince him his name was Hamsby in this movie, and he'd be like, really? That's crazy. All right.
It's been a while since I made those.
And a big old, you know, in a real life, a big old pothead. Yeah.
It's like, I guess I'm Hamsby now.
Yeah. I know, that sounds pretty cool.
So Hamsby is like, guys, you're all idiots. What makes Katniss truly inspiring? It's when she's doing things that, like, when she saves her sister, and when she does true acts of heroism, not all this like flashy, oh, my dress is on fire and I'm gonna hold a flag and be like, join the resistance. No. We got to get her in the real shit. So what they're like, hey, there's a hospital in District 11 or whatever.
Nope.
12.
Nope.
What?
You're close.
8?
That's right.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
Not really, but I do remember that detail, so I felt like it would be worth pointing out.
Mostly plot picking here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to District 8, and we'll get some real rallying going on. So Katniss goes to a hospital, and she's like, oh, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And they're just like, walk around. They'll love you. And they're like, oh my God, Katniss, it's you. Let me touch you. Oh my God, I love you so much. And she's like, I'm here to fight, and I'm going to help y'all fight. We're going to fight. Also, by the way, so it's not just Katniss. There's like a little strike team. So you got Mahershala, you got Gale. At one point, Gale's like, you know, it's kind of not great. You got all your wounded together. And she's like, there's nothing else I could do. And he's like, yeah, probably not great. And you're like, that's weird, but it kind of comes up later. So.
Well, who else is in the strike team, very importantly?
Oh, we got Mute, aka from Daredevil.
That's right.
Foggy. You got Foggy
Senor
Nelson.
Foggy, yeah.
As the Mute, who cannot talk because his tongue was cut out.
DJ, do you recall what they have named these twin characters in a setting with a lot of very ancient Roman-inspired names?
Hell nah. Was it Gem?
Really? You can't think of any famous mythological or historical twins in a Roman or perhaps even Greek setting? That any extremely on the nose first thing you would ever think of names?
And remember, it's not Hamsby, because that guy was already in it. So, different character.
No, Diggins, I do not remember.
Pollux and Castor.
Yeah,
Pollux. That means nothing to me.
They're Gemini. Those are the Gemini constellations based on the Greek myth.
I don't know what. I don't know.
I forgot they were twins. That completely.
I know Gemini's twins, but Pollux and Hamsby, it doesn't ring a bell.
If only they were that memorable of names. That'd be great though if we just started renaming constellations and like things like that. Right. That one's Hamsby now.
Hold on, let me reframe this in a way that you guys will understand then.
Okay.
Pollux and Castor, the name of Nick Cage and his brother in Face Off.
Oh, Castor Troy for sure.
Thank you for speaking my language.
I know. I want to say, was there a Flash? Yeah, Pollux was also. I remember this from the original Flash show from the 90s. they made a clone of Flash who was a bad guy named Pollux. So that was what that was too. There's another clone guy.
Nice.
Yeah, I just remember that actor, John Wesley Shipp, I think is his name, just yelling, Pollux, no! And I was like, that's a fun name. Now I get it. But yeah, so you got Senora Foggy, and then another bigger star than she was at the time is part of that crew.
Was she not?
Oh, right.
Was she not the thing she's most famous for now by then?
I think she had just gotten cast in those, because she didn't show up in Game of Thrones until like season 3, I want to say, right?
Something like that. We're talking about Natalie Dormer, by the way.
Yeah, I guess she was. So she was in Game of Thrones maybe a little bit by now, but she really, like, her character kind of takes off right as this movie is coming out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the strike team's all here.
But wait, what are they doing? What's their job?
Well, they're protector, I guess. I don't know. That's not made super clear, if I'm being honest, or I just don't remember.
It's made incredibly clear what Natalie Dormer's job is.
Oh, they're filming, right?
Yeah, she's the director from the Capitol.
Fact, right. There's a several minutes long scene where they do nothing but talk about what her job is, DJ.
Yeah,
and she's got like a funny, like, kind of, I feel like part of the deal with her is they had her kind of look like a kind of artsy hipster from the Capitol, with her like tattoos and her, cool hairdo and stuff like that. And yeah, she has a very interesting look in this that apparently she came up with on her own, Natalie Dormer.
It just only slightly feels like this movie wanted to be like real inside baseball with like, oh, we're gonna really talk about like direction and filming and giving notes and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Eventually every movie has to be about movies. If they make it long enough and you give the director enough control, they go like, it's really important. People fighting wars is important, but it's the filming people that really make a difference.
Yeah. It's the storytellers who really control the realm. Mm-hmm. And who has a better story, than Katniss the Broken?
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, speaking of characters in wheelchairs, not that they are that, but BT is in this too. And he's the Q of this universe now.
Yes, yeah.
Inventing little fancy arrows and such.
Oh, that's right. I guess that scene did happen, right?
Yeah, because she has one for this.
Yeah. So they go, and then because she went there, and President Snow's like, oh God, they're all with her now. Bomb the fuck out of them. Mm-hmm. So President Snow just sends some fucking planes and just bombs the hospital. And then Katniss is like, God damn it, I'm so upset. And then she films her propaganda for, the resistance. We'll get to perhaps some nitpicking aspects of that later, because it's kind of insane how that shit plays out. So I'm trying to think what the next thing is. Oh, right. So then they make an awesome fucking dope trailer that everyone loves. Mm-hmm. Very good trailer for joining the resistance. Better than that Jonathan Majors Be All You Can Be Army video. Even better than that.
Yeah, do you think you would join the resistance if you saw this trailer?
I'm a very detailed guy. I want to know what the benefits are, right? Like what's their benefits?
Yeah, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
What do I get out of this whole resistance thing?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about what some people are willing to do for the resistance.
Will you climb a tree for the resistance, DJ?
If I could climb a tree.
Yeah.
If only. What?
I want to say the next thing is just the retaliation to that. But then there's also all the rebellions. These start happening now, right?
Yeah. So it's this movie is just a blur, and the sequencing all messed up. So essentially, the districts get rallied. So what the districts start doing is they essentially just start attacking the little the peacekeepers, the bad policemen, and all the districts in various ways, like the lumber people, like set up mines in just the forest and climb trees and blow them all up. The District 5, I guess they're the like hydroelectric people. They go and they just like set off some bombs in there after some light human sacrifice to take care of all that.
DJ, when it's a war, we call those human wave tactics.
Human wave tactics, right. Yeah, I'm sure that's what we'll get to as well. And then because the Capitol's so mad, basically President Snow like, hey, everyone chill out, stop it. PETA puts out more Tooch-based propaganda videos, and then President Snow does the only thing he could do, and he basically bombs District 13, but not before PETA, during one of his propaganda videos, can warn them, so then they all are able to get into the bunker, and then it's no problems. And then I think at some point, like, Coin lowers the oxygen or something like that, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Lowering oxygen is not that big a deal.
I think it's just that they're like, they don't know how long they're going to be there, so they want to conserve resources, I think.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, but it didn't meet... Bro, it didn't... Like, I get that, but it didn't mean anything in terms of, like, the, what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make a difference in the movie.
Yeah. It was just interesting.
No, the movie has to be 2 hours long, so...
Well...
Yeah. It's only fair.
So, yeah, now based on all of this nonsense, Katniss is basically forced to now be like, well, now we have to fight. So we're gonna go. I'm trying to remember, because I'm trying to remember what happens before the strike, because the strike is like the last thing that happens.
Yeah, so you skipped over all the stuff where she fucks around in District 12 for a while and then sings a song.
I forgot about that.
All that happens before this fight.
Oh,
yeah.
God, yeah.
I couldn't remember if that happened before or after District 8, but it's after District 8?
It's after District 8, before the retaliation on District 13.
It also, sense. Like, doesn't matter. I guess that's what spurs on the rebellion bits, but, you know, everyone's really happy because Katniss is just telling them the way.
And they're hacking. There's lots of like hacking into the system and putting this on every screen.
Yeah, that's what BT is doing, because he's able to broadcast all these to the other districts, which normally you can't. So that's good. I
guess we haven't really talked about Finnick. He's not really doing too much in the beginning, if I remember correctly.
No, at the end he has that bit where he's doing kind of the like subterfuge campaign where he's putting out a propaganda video to like distract President Snow while... All right, so we get towards the end of the movie.
We're pretty much at the end. Yeah, I think
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Gale and Katniss kissed at one point, so that fucking happened.
That was going to be my tiebreaker, by the way. Do any of you know the interesting thing about that kiss in real life?
I do.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, what is it? Or we'll wait, I guess.
No, I think you can say it, because it's not that. It's, you know, just like a fun little trivia.
Because it was meant to be kind of like awkward and not great. In order to effectively get that reaction from Liam Hemsworth, Jennifer Lawrence only ate foul-smelling foods that whole day, so that
like garlic and fish and just gross.
Yeah, so that it would be unpleasant for him to kiss her.
That's mean.
I mean, it's method, man. That's as method as I will tolerate of an actor. So they eat weird food to make your breath smell weird. Sure, make everybody wheel you around because you really are Morbius. No, thank you. But that first thing's okay.
All right. God, well, all right. So basically comes down to the end, and the rebellion's like, okay, we have to go in and save PETA. So they do a strike where they go into the Capitol, and meanwhile Fennec is doing like his own propo where he's like, you know, President Snow's like actually an evil guy. You know, he poisons all of his opponents so they die, but he hides like the flowers, people don't know, and like just all this nonsense. And then Katniss is just kind of doing nothing during all this. She's kind of just like watching, because she was told that the strike had been commenced, and Gale volunteered. I can't remember if Hamsby was part of it, but they go in.
Hamsby's in it, but Boggs is definitely there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Boggs
And
and Gale both go.
And they're rescuing PETA, but
And
then
the tributes.
also, Joanna and
The
Finnick's
girl.
girlfriend, who we don't see too much of until
Right.
now.
Annie is her name.
Annie, yeah.
And so they go and they get them all and they get out. And then they're like, oh, but like we didn't face any resistance along the way. That's so weird. And Katniss is like, I just want to see PETA. And PETA, who, by the way, is now frail and skinny because I guess he hasn't been fed. He looks how I assume everyone in these districts should look. Like, you know, not like well-fed people.
He's got the scrawny Steve Rogers CGI, but it looks worse 4 years later for some reason.
Yeah. But when he sees Katniss, he tries to kill her with his skinny little arms. And he almost fucking crushes her windpipe. But Mahershala saves the day because he's good like that. And then what they found out is that PETA has been hijacked using Tracker Jacker venom, and he thinks Katniss is evil now. And we gotta find a way to stop him, and we have to finish this resistance. And end of movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oof. Ooh-wee, guys. Ooh-wee.
There's like a lot of like kind of not like forced drama, but like there's a lot of like bits where it's like, oh, is she gonna make it into the blast door in time? Oh, and that kind of gets you through scene to scene. But there's like 4 or 5 things that happen in this movie, and those are all of them.
So little. I'm not convinced that this movie should be as long as it is, or like, sorry, that there should be 2 movies. Like,
neither is the director, so you're in good company.
I don't think you're really stating any controversial opinions there, DJ.
But speaking of controversial opinions, Diggins, do you have a controversial opinion? Because you won. What did you think of this movie?
I do have
Hunger
a
Games
controversial
Mockingjay
opinion,
Part 1.
Nando, and that controversial opinion is I don't think this movie's that bad.
My goodness.
It's not.
That is controversial.
It's definitely not as good as the other 2. The other 2 I quite liked, as you recall. Thought they were very good. This one definitely does not need to be its own movie. Definitely feels like a very elongated first half of a normal movie, which I'm not a huge fan of. But that being said, I kind of like the quiet contemplative scenes, this being kind of the movie about Katniss trying to process some of her trauma. I don't know, I think some of that stuff works for me. Like DJ, because he's an uncultured swine, hated them walking around District 12 and her, like, you know, seeing all the death of everyone she's ever known or loved in her entire life, except for a small handful of people, and, you know, having to process that grief. And also they're using that as propaganda. They're putting it on camera and putting it out to inspire people. So that raises a lot of other questions about, you know, general themes in this series about the use of other people's pain as entertainment, or at least, you know, as media. I don't know. I was like, that's kind of neat. But a lot of stuff happens in this movie, by which I mean not very much happens in this movie, but it all happens for a very long time. So yeah, no, ultimately, I don't think this movie should exist. I think they should have made one Mockingjay. That was this movie, and the other movie filed down to its own, like, 2.5 hour movie like the other ones. But I like parts of it. I think that some of it is worthwhile. So yeah, it's hard for me to be mad at it, even though I generally agree with everything you guys are about to say.
Well, DJ, as the person who's about to say some of it, what do you think of Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1?
Well, I will say, because my name was invoked, I would just like to take this opportunity to
30 seconds extra time, DJ, for your yes.
I would just like to say that, you know, I don't have contempt for those scenes, but for the purposes of me having to summarize a movie quickly, I don't think those are integral for a summary. So that is how I would
a
like
likely
to
story.
This is a likely story. Okay, so what do I think of this movie? Oh my god, it's bad. It's so bad. It's hard for me to strictly disagree with Dickens's points, but like, I don't care. I don't like enough of these characters to like be like, oh yeah, it's awesome that they're sad because, I don't know, someone died or whatever. It's not like, I need Hunger Games. This movie has no Hunger Games, and therefore it's not good. I feel like it's a very like simple equation to to kind of come up with. No Hunger Games in Hunger Games movie equals bad movie.
Well, I have bad news about part 2, DJ.
I mean, I didn't think there'd be more Hunger Games. It seems like we're about to have no government. So no government, no Hunger Games. Unless, is there a Hunger Games where the rebellion gets like the capital to do Hunger Games? Then like, let's go.
No spoilers, DJ.
No spoilers, but I will say at least later in the next movie, a character will kind of go do something, but then they'll say like, this is a Hunger Games, basically. Like they'll go to war and they'll be like, this is the next Hunger Games. I'm like, you guys could have done this time too, you know, just for sport, just so we at least felt like we were getting some Hunger Games out of this movie. Just go like, wow, that time that they, that they fought us, that was like, this is a Hunger Games again.
This is, if someone was in that scene where they're going around District 12, Gale went, wow, Katniss, I guess we really were the Hunger Games the whole time.
I wouldn't put it past him.
So yeah, I don't think this movie is very good. Like maybe those scenes are fine or whatever, but it's not like what I'm here for. It took what I liked from the first 2 movies and just got rid of all of it. So I'm kind of bummed.
Damn.
So, yeah. Sorry.
All right. Well,
sorry, not sorry.
I get to take the middle opinion, but I'm actually closer to Diggins on this one. I thought this movie was pretty compelling. I liked most of it. I will say I don't think the next movie makes it better. I think it makes some of it worse. And that is maybe one of my biggest problems with this movie is it's a 2-part movie. So I think it's hard to judge on its own. And then the finished product of both of them, I don't really like as much, but I agree. I think like making the propaganda stuff and like them going to the district and like inventing their little song and then that spreads to everybody doing rebellions. I thought that was kind of neat. I liked the bits where they were like just being bombed and like playing lights with the cat to keep themselves kind of entertained and also to learn lessons from it. I do think a lot of the PETA stuff is weird. Like I understand what they're doing. I guess this thing that happens at the end with PETA, I think is kind of weird. But that is something that doesn't really get followed up on until the second movie. So any problems I have with it really show up there. I'd say my biggest problem with this movie is I just don't like the President Goin character, and it's weird. But yeah, I think all the stuff that's like the them doing propaganda or like going and visiting the people and Katniss is kind of like their savior and she doesn't really know what to do with it is kind of interesting. I think the language in this movie is very annoying. I do not like how they call her their Mockingjay, as if that means something. Like I understand what it means, but it sounds silly and it makes me take a lot of the things that are happening less seriously. Same problem I have with Propo, where they're like, let's go do a Propo. I'm like, that sounds stupid. But if you just called it a video, I'd take it a little bit more seriously. I also think this movie really suffers from us never having spent any time in the other districts. Like, I think what I need is a District 12 movie to start or something where I can feel this loss, because you get there and it's like, what did we do in District 12? Just stood around a little bit. We watched Hunger Games from there, but like all the characters we ever met survived. So I get that this is really a bummer for Katniss, but it doesn't really affect me as much. Like, I do think it's crazy that her mom, her sister, Hey Mitch, who I guess wasn't there, but still is like one of the District 12 people, Gale and PETA all make it through this first like wave of all getting killed. So
yeah, killing
the mom here or the sister would have made sense. But overall, yeah, I think this is good.
Hold on, Nando. What if?
I know. We'll see about that. But yeah, I think overall this movie's good. I like the production design. I like this. We didn't talk about this. That District 13 is the secret army district. That like and that as like a organizing principle for it is cool. I hate that this is the communism district or whatever they're going for with this one. As the like, it's not communism exactly, but like this is the kind of like we're in the like almost like Silo, where everybody dresses in like the same gray clothing and everybody is equal to each other and stuff. But hey,
Nando,
there's some problems with that too.
It's actually much worse in the book.
I bet
there's you can kind of see little hints of this in some points, but they never really touch on it in the movie. But life in District 13 is very heavily regimented. People carry like little schedules on their wrists of what they're supposed to be doing at any given point in the day. And like,
interesting,
you're assigned that schedule about like what your job is and what you do. So yeah, no, it very much is that thing you're saying.
I wish they had kind of put more of that in this movie then, because then I feel like I would have gotten a better sense for what these guys were. But yeah, overall, I think the acting's pretty good. And like, I don't know, this is another one where like a lot of the good actors are here. Philip Seymour Hoffman's in this movie.
Rip in peace.
Right. And I think I want to say he died right after they finished filming this one, or like the last couple of like all of this stuff. Obviously he's in it. They CGI him in one shot in the next movie, but doesn't really have too much to do in the next one.
I think I think he had mostly finished shooting for both of them.
Yeah.
They gave away a couple of his stuff that he wasn't able to shoot and did one CGI shot.
Mm-hmm. And I think overall it's like as tasteful as these have usually. We'll get to it next week. But like he's good in this, and yeah, and I don't know. I think this movie's pretty good. But I mean, you know, it's even better. I mean, unless you're DJ, is the wheel. The wheel is back, you guys.
Wait, why am I the anti-wheel guy?
Because you came out against the wheel
Because you
before.
said you don't like the wheel and think we should not have it. Remember when you said those words?
Yeah, but like, you know, that was like in the immediacy of the...
Just because I said I was against the wheel, suddenly you guys think I'm some kind of anti-wheel person?
Well, it's that me being an anti-wheel person makes me like a bad person or something like that.
I mean, I didn't put any judgment. I just said you didn't like the wheel.
Oh, so now Nazis are bad? Just because I say out loud that I agree with the Nazis, you guys think that makes me a bad person? Wow.
I mean...
Wow. Very good.
I didn't say that.
Well, either way, whatever your opinion on the wheel is, whether it's Nazis or not, it is here. And we have to acknowledge it. So I have a lot of things on this wheel. Not a lot, actually. The normal amount. And I'm going to spin it, and we will see what it lands on.
Okay.
Tick, tick, tick. This is one of DJ's, actually. This is Justice for Gale. Let's talk about Gale's role in this movie.
Bro. So my biggest thing is, I mean, guys, can we be honest for a second?
I'd love it if we were. At least for a second.
I actually would like it if we lied.
Oh, this is a Labyrinth situation. One of the hosts is always honest about his opinions. Yeah.
From Katniss's perspective, inexplicably, from my purview, it seems that like Katniss is now really about PETA.
Mm-hmm.
Like the little ambiguity. But Gale's here. Like, she should be with Gale. Like, do you want to be with the Liam Hemsworth, or do you want to be with a Josh Hutcherson?
I don't know. Has Liam Hemsworth ever had a whole month just for himself?
That's true. I mean, he was in The Most Dangerous Game, which is one of the best episodes we've ever done.
That's true.
So, you know, that deserved a whole month. If we had Quibied it could have been a whole 2.5 months if we did all 10 episodes as their own little thing.
Yeah, there would have been so much meat on those bones.
Yeah. Dodge Tines. Dodguary or something. Maybe one of these days.
It is just hard for me to understand how Katniss is just, oh no, PETA. Gale is right there. He's here for you. He's doing all the heavy lifting as part of the resistance, but you won't give him the time of day. I don't think it's good.
All that time she spends with him, hanging out and like being there for him, never gives him the time of day once. He keeps asking her over and over again, "Hey Katniss, I forgot my watch back in my room. Can you tell me what time it is?" And she refuses to do it.
I do think like it's funny that like the kiss was bad in general, because I don't think these actors have too much chemistry. Like I'm like, especially in the first part of the movie, I'm like, you're both hot. I get it, but like in the first in movie one. But I am also like, I don't know, man. And maybe it's just like I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just those two actors, but I never felt it. I don't think I feel it with Josh Hutcherson more either. Like, but
Yes,
that one at least makes sense in context.
That part's a problem where you don't feel with Josh Hutcherson, but you're really not supposed to feel it with Gale. Like, in the books, Gale's never really an option to her. Like, she doesn't like him that way. They're friends and she cares about him, but like there's never a realistic possibility of them.
Well, they fuck with it in this movie, all right? And I say, Katniss, you go get it, because Gale's the true hero. Peeta, I'll say it, Peeta's a piece of shit.
Oh my god.
And he is.
That's
he gets
also
captured.
on the wheel.
No backbone.
I don't like people who get captured. I prefer people who didn't get captured. And DJ comes out and says it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone's ever said that before, but they're probably right if they did.
Brave man, apparently, yeah. Yeah, that actually on the wheel is DJ thinks Peeta is bad, so we could just skip right to that. I guess these are kind of one and the same.
But yeah, no, DJ, you're right. It doesn't make any sense that Katniss would care about the one person who shared the most significant experiences of her life with her and who, they went through two entire huge traumatic experiences all centered around having to trust each other with their lives and like doing everything they could to defend each other and protect each other. It doesn't make any sense that Katniss feels some kind of connection with that person.
Well, he's not here.
No, and that is part of
move on.
That is part of the problem, though, and I think maybe the books would fix this. Is that like I just never feel like I spend enough time with Liam Hemsworth and Katniss to understand what their relationship was before the Hunger Games. Besides just the kind of shorthand we get very early, which is like, I think these guys are a couple or something, maybe. So then when we get to this part, I'm like, he seems like he's bummed that they're not a couple, but I can't figure out how she feels about it. So I guess it's nothing, but like I get more District 12 stuff would have really helped me care about a lot of these things.
Hell yeah.
But also I just don't think Peeta, and I got nothing against Josh Hutcherson. I think he gets better in these as they go along, but I feel like when this movie does try to set it up as this love story, I'm like, nah, you guys just are trauma bonded. I get that, but I don't think you guys like each other very much. I don't know.
Agreed.
But what are you going to do?
If there's anything movies have taught me, it's that being trauma bonded is the same thing as being in love.
Apparently. It really makes me just, when all this stuff is done, I'm like, Katniss, you just got access to the whole Capitol, kind of. Like, see who's out there, Maybe there's somebody 100%. In District 2 for you or something. 100%. I don't know.
Well, maybe not District 2.
Maybe not District 2, yeah. I forget what they're all about, but they're the ones that like file their teeth into shark. Yeah, so we don't like them.
Yeah,
she is
District 4, let's
District
say.
2.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we got another, where's Finnick from?
I think 4.
He's 4? Yeah, let's go to 4. He seems nice, and his girlfriend seems nice. I'm sure we can find, he's probably got a cousin or something, see how that goes. But yeah, I think part of the problem with this movie, and it's not the movie's fault, is that it got the Hunger Game, or it got the Twilight treatment from fans of the Team X, Team Y kind of situation. And like, I agree. I don't think the movie really makes a case for that, but I do think having not seen it, that was what I thought was happening from the outside. So when I got there, I'm like, I don't think this really matters. But also, yeah, the movie's not really about that anyway, until the very end, which is weird. But yeah, because like Peeta's barely in this. But DJ, do you think Peeta was doing it all just on his own free will, and he just?
I mean, no, he might have been brainwashed, but like, I don't care.
Real heroes don't get brainwashed.
Apparently,
yes.
I do think like the people in District 13 should give Peeta a little bit more credit when he's doing the propaganda video with what's his name. They take that all at face value. I'm like, guys, what do you think's going on here?
Yeah, right.
You don't think he just got caught? Like, but I don't know. Maybe they're not that bright. I don't know. I do think this movie having less Peeta is maybe not the worst thing in the world.
I agree. And look, my point is you got to go with the Hutch. I mean, damn it. No, you got to go.
It's too late. You can't take it back.
You got to go with the Hems.
You got to go with the Hems.
It sounds like DJ's hemming and hawing and really prefers the Hutch.
I think DJ wants the ham, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
You know,
I do. I love the hams.
We need more ham. I also think the thing with Katniss and Peeta that like is the other part of their dynamic that I don't like, or like that I think is like, I don't think you guys are in love. It seems like all she really wants to do is protect him. He's like her little, you know, like
a puppy.
Kind of, yeah. And they could be friends and stuff, but I just never bought this love story
Agreed.
because of that dynamic. But yeah. Speaking of Katniss, I suddenly again landed on another one of DJ's. Katniss's bad acting.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about that. Do they have TV in the Capitol? They watch shows? Are there actors? They must, right?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of alluded to this, right? But it's, you know, the whole reason that they're in this predicament of having to, you know, go to not active war zones. Well, kind of, yeah, like active war zones and make propaganda videos is because Katniss can't act. Like, they have all the technology for her to be able to like act. So
yeah,
just, you know,
and they try it like a couple of times and they go like, I guess she does not have the ability to do this.
Yeah, I guess we have to give up and risk everything.
Yeah,
literally risk everything.
I do think like, because Haymitch comes in and he's like, all right, we love Katniss so much. What do we like what Katniss does? She improvises. That's what we got to do. We got to send her in the field to do improv.
I'm with you, Diggins. Hamish came in and said, oh, what Katniss?
All right, what does he sound like? No, hold on. What's the Woody Harrelson accent?
Woody Harrelson's in here so far. Incredible.
No, I was doing Nando doing Woody Harrelson, which is, come on now, Katniss. What Katniss know how to do bail?
Yeah, that's what he's.
Is that what you're doing? Are you doing Nando's Woody Harrelson or are you doing Boomhauer?
They're the same guy.
Nando put a weird Southern twang.
I mean, he's from the South, right? Kind of in these. Well, it's the wrong Southern twang. I didn't do a good job, but like that part makes sense.
Are we all going to try to do our best Hamsby?
Yeah, let's try it. I'm trying to think of a line he says in these movies.
I can't even.
Katniss.
I'm going to try from the last one because I remember this one.
There, folks, that's how revolution dies.
Yeah.
All right, look. Now this Hunger Games is different. This isn't any like anyone you ever played before. You got to make friends, and that's important. You make friends.
It's okay. I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, I think you could kind of do a McConaughey and get a Harrelson out of it. Like, all right. Here's what we got to do. We got to do the Hunger Games. We're going to get you guys down and do the districts. Nah, that's not right either. Did we determine he's from Texas? I can't remember. We looked up this last week when we found out he's a serial killer's son or something. I can't remember. But either way, whatever I said. Oh, he's like, we got to improv. We got to do improvise. That's what we love about Katniss. And it's like, I don't know, maybe just teach her how to act. Does it seem like that's that hard? It seems like it's much harder to go into the war zone and see if that works. Like, do you not have one acting? Do you have Effie teach her? She's from the Capitol. Have the director teach her. She's also from the Capitol. Give her direction.
A hospital gets bombed because Katniss doesn't know how to act.
Yeah. It's a very it's like a very consequential thing that seems like it could be solved in a lot of other ways. It also seems like they could just have her, what's the word? Like
AI replacement?
Yeah, what is that called when you do it with the face? It's like a name for that. Deep fake. You could just deep fake it onto somebody else or something. They seem to have the technology for that. They have lots of technology.
I think too, like, one thing I appreciate this from a, I guess, like, real life or meta perspective is J-Law is such a good actor that she can pretend to be bad at acting. And I like when actors are able to pretend to be bad at acting because it comes up or whatever.
I like when they make me feel like maybe I'm not completely inferior to them in every single way.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, she's fun in that.
It's so interesting. She's like, it's also because it's like one of these things where like Ian McKellen was sad because in the fucking Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit, he was just in a room by himself with like a bunch of green screens everywhere and tennis balls, and she's in like a dome holding like a stick that's gonna be a flag, and she's like, I can't get there, guys. And is at one point someone?
I was gonna say, in Katniss's defense, like, those are conditions in which it is difficult for seasoned professionals to act.
That's true.
Isn't it at one point like the someone yells, it's like, oh my god, she sucks. It's like, wait, did she hear me?
No,
I don't remember, but maybe
It was someone's like someone had a note like, she's got to be more passionate, and then the director's like, Katniss, can you be more impassioned? Do you guys not remember this during this whole nonsense?
no. What you're thinking of is Plutarch gives a note pretty sharply. He's like, no, you're in the middle of you just got back from a battle, and then he's like, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so sharp.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not nobody is it's not like straight out of a cartoon like you're suggesting. It's a little more subdued.
I did think it was straight out of a cartoon.
But yeah, the acting thing is weird that they have her in the little thing, and they're just like, I also think if I saw that, if I saw that promo, I'd be like, I don't think she was in the battlefield. Like, why did we even bother?
Well, of course she wasn't in the battlefield. They're talking about she just stormed the Capitol. I know that didn't happen.
I guess that's true. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I guess like, why are we getting the real person to cut a fake promo? I do understand the point Haymitch is making there, kind of. It's like either we put her in the real battlefield or just have somebody else we like do it. Finnick, right? People probably like him. Be like, oh, we gotta protect the Capitol. I don't know. Does anybody even get close to how popular she is? Like, do the people like Finnick, do you think?
No, it's all about Katniss.
Finnick was more liked by Capitol people than the thing that works with them with Katniss is that people in the districts liked her. The people who were forced to watch it because she kind of, stood up to them a little. And
that makes sense.
And everything. So like other popular Hunger Games people would be popular with the people that they're not trying to reach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. That part, the propaganda part is interesting. I like that part of the movie. Which part is weird though? The song. I spun the wheel again and landed on the song. Apparently, this was on like the iTunes charts for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And it's in the promo for the next one. Like this is like the song of these movies, which I just did not recognize at all. Oh my god! No, the song of the summer is that apology video that Miranda Sings did on her little ukulele. That's how she did Diddle Kids. I refuse to believe there's any other song in the summer better than that.
You broke Diggins.
It's the best thing I've ever heard.
I wasn't ready for that to get referenced.
I love it so much. I think it's just so funny that it's a song. It's terrible what happened, but it's such a weird way to present that information. But yeah, no, this song was the song of the summer 2014, I guess. Or at least like the song. I think this was a late in the year movie, so maybe the song of the winter. This was my other trivia question I was going to ask. Apparently the person that composed or arranged the soundtrack for this movie is the youngest person in the history of movies that's ever done that. Do you know who it is?
Oh, wow.
It's someone who you might know. Like it's a person whose name you'd be like, oh, that person.
I actually do know this, so I'll let DJ guess.
No, please put me on my misery, please.
Well, DJ, you might be like, they must be some sort of royal of the music industry.
Sure.
In order to do such a feat as that, because it's Lord. The answer's Lord.
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember when Lord was everywhere? This was part of that.
Was that
Isn't that her song?
I mean, her song is royal, and also Lord is like a royal adjacent.
Which I think was part of the thing with that song, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Dude, I don't sure.
DJ, you totally missed Lord. That just DJ, didn't happen.
Damn it.
DJ, I need you to understand that if I know a music thing and you don't, that's incredibly embarrassing.
I mean, I also couldn't name more than 2 Lord songs, so we're on thin ice with me.
You could name royals though, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Couldn't DJ is incredibly embarrassed be like an alternate name of this podcast? I feel like that's just kind of a thing that happens on the reg.
It's very possible. What do you guys think of the song? Speaking of embarrassed, because apparently Jennifer Lawrence was very hesitant about singing in this movie.
Yeah, she doesn't like that she did this.
Really?
I think it was fine.
She
I don't think
doesn't think she's a very good singer, so she doesn't like that something she sang became a big thing.
It wasn't like bad. I don't know.
And I think part of it is that she's bad at it. Kind of, it's like, again, it's another. This is another thing where you're like, oh yeah, the actor sounds like a real person. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, she's clearly not a professional singer. Like, it is an unpolished vocal, but like that's kind of the point, so it's fine.
Has she ever sang in anything else? Now I'm looking at it. I don't think she has. Is there any singing in Mother? There could have been. I would have been surprised.
Not that I recall.
Yeah. It's a shame.
There should have been.
Missing out. Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's interesting that this song is such a big part of the universe.
Could you say the name of that movie correctly?
Mother! Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Chip and Mother. Those are the two movies with exclamation points. Yeah, I just think it's interesting that this song is such a big part of this movie. And I hear it in trailers, and having not seen this before I saw the trailer for this first one, like for whatever, Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, just completely went over my head. I had no idea. But speaking of that, I spun the wheel again, landed on one of Diggins's Wave After Wave of My Own Men. Let's talk about what the song leads to.
So, we had DJ touched on this in the summary, but so after they cut the promo and put it out there and everything, and everybody starts getting inspired, the other districts start rising up. Some of the lumberjack district, they plant mines and then climb up trees like little squirrels and blow up the mines.
Not before, by the way, just running away from the
peacekeepers.
To just like get mowed down. Like, couldn't this plan have been a little more formulated where they like climbed up the trees as part of their like natural business and then like set off the mines? Like, it just seems like they were like, as part of this plan, a lot of us are gonna die.
I think they wanted to flex and show how good they are at climbing trees.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure that lumberjacks typically climb trees.
That's a good point. They have those little heels like the shoes.
Normally they want to get the trees down to the ground, not the other way around.
Maybe they had to go catch tracker jackets or some stuff. I don't know. I just...
Those guys would be sick at Hunger Games because they can climb a tree like it's nobody's business.
That's right. And the tree is the ultimate place to be.
The ultimate weapon.
It's amazing they don't win every year.
Which district did we say this is?
7?
I think 7, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think we know too many people from there.
Yeah, but anyway,
you would know if you do a Hunger Games, you got to cut District 7 off at the hit. Like, you got to go for them first, otherwise they're getting in that tree and it's over.
Yeah, if both District 7 tributes get up into the top of a tree before you can, hunt them down, it's over.
Yeah.
It's another District 7 year.
That'd be so funny if you looked at all the Hunger Games records. It's like, we have these first two, we have 1 and 2, and they just train every year to be the biggest killers, but most of the time it's a District 7 tree Hunger Games year. Just fundamentals, man, You'd
think eventually District 1 and 2 would train at climbing trees, but they're too proud.
They love being strong and having shark teeth and stuff. It's too cool for them. But anyway.
Yeah, so... But the other one, which is more what this point is about, is in District 5, where they apparently maintain the hydroelectric dam that powers the capital. They just show up singing the song in the mist as the peacekeepers get all nervous and watch, and hundreds of them start running across the bridge. No weaponry or anything, but carrying a big briefcase bomb.
Yeah.
And they're just mowing them down with assault rifles. Just dozens of people dying. And they just, human wave tactics, just keep running until somebody eventually reaches the peacekeepers and can do a big punch.
Yeah, it's pretty wild that it works though. I guess they knew it would work eventually. They'd have to reload.
That's why human wave tactics exist, is if you have an overwhelmingly larger number of people than the other side, then it doesn't matter how much better equipped they are. Eventually, they're going to get tired or run out or something. It just takes a very strong disregard for the lives of the people on your side.
Yeah.
Couldn't there have been a better plan? There was mist. Could they have not like, I don't know. I don't know what that district does, being how it's like they're the water hydroelectric dam one, but I just
I mean,
feel like there could have
there's
been
definitely
a better plan.
Toss the bomb, make a couple of bombs, and just see if you can chuck them over.
Or if you
got a good shot.
If you guys presumably work on the dam, maybe try to smuggle the bomb in and detonate it remotely.
That's true. Because
sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say, yeah, you have to go in the dam eventually. They're guarding it, I assume, because it's night. But like, they'd just be like, hey, by the way, this is dam equipment. This isn't a bomb. Oh, okay, cool. You get to go in then. Then just do it.
I mean, you're a cop. What do you know about what dam equipment looks like? I could trick someone like that, probably.
Absolutely.
Right?
Or if you must do the nighttime assault, and let's assume for some reason that is the only way to do it, to be fair to them. So earlier, like you said, we find out District 13 is the military district where they got 1 billion weapons. And Katniss is like, hey, how come you guys never did a weapon fight with the Capitol? And they're like, well, if we did an all-out weapon fight, then like a bunch of people would die. And we don't mention this a lot, but we're in a post-apocalyptic world where there's not that many people, so we don't want to do that. And you're like, fair enough, but I don't know. You can't give the district 5 people a few AK-47s?
Yeah.
You can't, let them maybe rely slightly less on human wave tactics and a little more on fighting back?
Yeah, and I think this is part of where, like, the weird... There's this weird disconnect in my mind. And what I think... It's a problem when movies do this, where there's something like this happening, and I can't tell if it's because the writing's not super, like... If it just is like a thing that they just like went, this is what we wanted to do because it would be cool, or if it is supposed to tell us something about President Coin and like what her plan is. And I think it's the first thing, but you could read it as being the second thing. And like, it's always like, how much latitude do you want to give them on something like that? Because like, yeah, she's like, fuck. She's cool with sacrificing some guys. As long as it's not her guys, maybe that's something about her character, or maybe not. Never know.
I don't know. Well, maybe we'll just have to wait till next movie, I guess.
We'll have to wait and see. Speaking of the aftermath of that, I spun the wheel again, landed on one of Diggins' Save the Cat. That was good, wasn't it, when they saved that cat?
Yeah, so one of the things Katniss finds the first time she goes to District 12, because she actually does it twice.
Right, yeah.
Is her family's cat, Buttercup. And she brings it back, and it's one of her conditions to be the Mockingjay is that they have to let Prim keep the cat, etc. It's all very nice. But when the bombing happens, the retaliation bombing that PETA warns them about, and now everyone has to go down to the bunker, it turns out Prim isn't in the bunker because she had to go save the cat.
Yep.
So
she read that book. She read that
screenwriting book. She's like, people need
very important to do.
She's like, people in the watching the movie need to like me, Katniss. I have to save this cat.
I mean, to be fair, I would not have liked her if she did not save that cat. Like, that is a big... Wow, that is actually a good character for me.
It's really won it for you, huh?
It's a very pretty cat, too. It's got a lot of character. I think we've talked about this before. It's got a lot of, like, fur, and it's kind of like... Oh, it's a little rough. It doesn't like Katniss. I like that. I think that's a fun trait for a cat to have. But yeah, they do save it. It'd be a really weird movie if they didn't, though, and they all died. Just like...
Which brings me to the point I wanted to ask. Do you think they should have just let the cat die?
So, no. I don't know.
Do you have an argument besides I like the cats?
I do like the cat. I think if you're Prim... You gotta always have the cat with you or something. Like, you have to have a better strategy. And I guess they're new. But, like, in case of a bombing, what happens to the cat? And, like, I don't know. Maybe it is hard to get this cat all right. Like, put it in, like, a little carrier. Get it on a leash, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, cats on leashes do not work. You know this,
I mean,
right?
you can work in the bunker. If we get out, then, it gets off the leash. But for bunker time, we gotta keep that cat on a leash. But
it's true.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Gale dies, because Gale's the last one to make it through this thing, I think. The blast doors, it's closing. Like, I'd be really bummed about that cat, but I'd also be bummed. I mean, I guess we wouldn't really be that bummed about Gale dying, but we'd be a little bit bummed. Feel really guilty.
Yeah, no worries on that one, right? It's like, it's fine.
It's only Gale. I mean, big deal.
And it does seem to be the only cat alive on our planet Earth at this point, so we probably should keep it going.
It's the last cat.
It might be. We never see another one. We don't see that many animals besides stuff they're hunting, so yeah, we should be, pretty careful about that cat.
I mean, the capital, they probably got like crazy mutant cats that they keep as
they
pets.
they got probably weird stuff. I mean, we'll get to it, but they got some weird stuff. They probably just make dogs out of mud or whatever.
You mean
they generate some dogs? That's right. They generate some mutations with cat faces or something, but like it doesn't.
What's better?
It's not good enough. Yeah. I spun the wheel again. You guys landed on this one, which I think we may have already covered, but maybe not. Five Nights at PETA. Let's talk about PETA in the end of this movie. What do we think of this?
That's great, by the way.
He's like a little monster guy that jumps at you and scares you. I haven't played those games, but I think that's what they are.
That's pretty much the entire premise, yeah.
Yeah, do you think that's how he got auditioned? He was like, I know how to do a movie where a guy jumps and scares you. I've done it before.
And they were like, damn, this guy's incredible. But he's playing the guy who gets scared, not the scarer. Exactly.
That's how he's perfect for it, It's like when they put what's his name? What is his name? They have the guy who does Gollum. It's like we put Andy Serkis in the Avengers movie and then just had him be a guy. It's like we wanted you to tell the Hulk how to jump around, but we actually just want you to sit and twirl your knife or whatever you do.
How dare you impugn the good name of Ulysses Claw?
Ulysses Claw? Hell yeah. He was cool. They killed him in the Black Panther movie. Boo. But yeah, in this movie, PETA becomes a little Wolverine man, little berserker man. It's weird.
It's very weird.
But
he's very skinny too. I don't know how he gets anything done. He's quite malnourished.
Yeah, I feel like if you're the Capitol, I get it. You want to starve him, but on the other hand, it seems like they're also torturing him to hate Katniss. So keep him fed.
He's got to be your Manchurian candidate. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Especially during Propo 02, when it's on TV and he has scrawny Steve Rogers' body, you'd be like, well, clearly he's not on the level. Like, the first time I could buy people being like, oh, he switched sides, screw him. But the second time it's like, and I get it, President Snow's kind of addictive and not very good at this either. But still, it's like, I'd like him to be a little bit better at it. Also, the effect is weird looking, but what are you going to do? I don't know. Has that ever been done particularly well?
Not that I can think of.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, that wasn't, like a lot of that wasn't an effect. Josh Hutcherson had been attacked by a giant mosquito just the other day.
Oh no! Sucked all his little blood out.
Sucked all his blood out and made him look like a little malnourished boy.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I think the problem with it, now that I think about it, because like I didn't love the Steve Rogers one either. They do a good job with Iron Man in Endgame when he comes back and he's all like withered from not eating and stuff. I think part of it is they just don't do too much with his face here.
Yeah,
you got to really make it. And I think part of it might be that they still want him to be a hunky cool guy that everybody can love. Not that you couldn't love a person with the face, but like they want him to be.
You cannot love an Uggo. Everyone knows
that. That's fair. I mean, that's why they made that show, Love Is Blind, and they only put models on it. But yeah, I feel like if they did a little bit more detail on his face, I would buy that he actually looks like he has not been fed. But with this, it does look like they put regular Josh Hutcherson face, a little bit of makeup, and then on a different guy's body. I do think he's better actor in the next one of these than he's been so far.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really get too much from this one, but yeah. I like the video he does with Caesar Flickerman. I think that scene's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's not enough Tooch. I'm telling you. Limited Tooch.
That's the great thing about Tooch. All the other characters become good guys eventually, except for him. Well, it's like him and Snow in the Capitol just doing murders.
I don't know that President Snow's going to make it out of this one with the redemption arc.
That's true. We need the redemption arc in this new movie that they're making.
That's what, right. I was going to say that's what the pre-movie's for.
Yeah. The new context will make him actually the secret hero. But yeah,
I think it will make him tragic, but I think it is still mostly a redemption arc, if anything.
That's true. I also think, and we'll, you know what? The spin wheel again landed on the last thing, cutting a promo, the call out post for President Snow. Let's talk about that mask off moment with Finnick, the one thing he does in this movie.
Yeah, they do Finnick a little dirty in this movie. He has more of a role in the book.
Oh, really? What's he doing in the book?
I mean, it's not that he's doing much differently. He just gets more time to like be Katniss's friend and them kind of like bonding over the bad experiences. Like a lot of the stuff she does, like she does still do hang out with Gale a lot, but she also hangs out with Finnick and like they bond. And also the moment where he does his call out post is more about him and the bad things that happen to him and not Katniss looking at a screen hoping Peeta will be back while he's in the background.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, I will say I understand from a director standpoint why you don't have him and Katniss together, is because if she was in the same scene with him more than twice, you'd be like, oh, obviously she should be in love with Sam Claflin. He's the best one. He's better than both of those other two. So,
but he has his own person he loves, so you'd be like, I understand why she can't be with him because he loves someone.
Well,
else.
now we get a good love triangle, like one where it's like all the chemistry and like these guys all, they do share this interesting experience, and maybe, who knows, maybe they can invite her into the relationship later on.
Yeah,
I don't know what their deal is. Maybe they're cool.
It is the indeterminate future. We don't have to be so close-minded about what a relationship can be.
And Finnick seems like, he seems like a pretty friendly guy in terms of just like being open-minded and stuff like that. He's not like, I don't know who wouldn't be. Who's a pretty closed-off character in these movies? I don't know. Everybody's kind of. There's very few characters in these movies that I could not see in the threesome.
I don't think
maybe
Gale
President Coin. Yeah, I don't think Gale would do it with another guy. I think
also BD. There's no way.
I think he could. I could see it.
I think we could convince
BT.
him.
100%.
Yeah.
I think BT's low key a freak.
Absolutely.
Whoa! What? That feels like you're breaking some news.
And like, Donald Sutherland, President Snow, absolutely.
Oh, hell
Plutarch
yeah.
Heavensby, absolutely. Hamsby, 100%.
Everyone from the Capitol is having no less than a fivesome every night.
That's right. And what's her name? When Joanna Mason shows up, she just takes off all her clothes and it's like, hey, this is what we do, right? And it's like, yeah, that would totally make sense. There's very few characters. If anybody can think of any, put them in the comments section. Which Hunger Games characters we don't think would be in a
polyamorous relationship.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize. Who is this? Wait a second. I'm looking at some of the actors in this because I'm like, some of these guys I don't really recognize from stuff. The guy that plays, not Pollux, the other one.
Castor.
I already forgot. Castor is the guy that did the voice, I guess, or maybe the stand-in of the guy from Ahsoka with the Jedi, not Jedi, the stormtrooper with the weird gold face. Wes Chatham. I don't know what that means. I guess he's like a stunt guy or something. I don't know. For a second, I thought he was a different actor on that show. But yeah, the call out post is interesting because it does get kind of like overshadowed by all the Peeta drama. But it's one of the more interesting things, I think, in this series. It's this idea that when you become a champion, what's the word? Victor, I think. You also kind of become a sex slave or something. It's very interesting.
That's it.
They don't say much about it in this one, but it's kind of implied. That's why, last movie, Joanna Mason was like, they can't hurt me anymore. There's no one left that I can love. The implication later is that she refused that pressure, and so Snow had her family killed.
It's so interesting. I did not notice that. But that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, it's an interesting angle. Changes some of the things about his guy, and like all the stuff he's saying to her in the beginning of the movie, and all the secret stuff from movie 2. Just makes him maybe like, I think he is. I don't think he's more interesting than Katniss. Like, I get why she's like the protagonist of this movie, but he's pretty good. Got a lot going on.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
And yeah, and he has a girlfriend named Annie. Or are they married? I don't remember.
They are not married. They are boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah. Now, we decided she was a person in the Capitol, or she was a victor a previous year.
Yes, she was also a victor.
Gotcha. Cool.
That's why Mags volunteered so that Annie wouldn't have to go.
Right. Oh, yeah, that makes way more sense now. Then you have to kill his girlfriend. That would suck.
Yeah. I wouldn't be happy about it.
And then they'd do the pregnancy thing, and then PETA would get up and be like, we're also pregnant. And be like, I don't buy either of them now.
These motherfuckers.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. What do you think of President Snow poisons people?
I mean,
a little bit of world building, I guess. Like,
I guess for me, it's like, I think the scene itself is good. And Sam Claflin's acting and whatnot is all good. But it is, if I was a person in there, I don't know. I guess if I live in the heavily propagandized society, this might be news to me. But me, an objective observer, watches like, oh, you're telling me the incredibly evil dictator is evil? I mean,
yeah,
I get, yeah. I don't know. None of this feels like news.
Right. I mean, it's not like we have currently a dictator who's famous for poisoning people. And everybody doesn't already kind of know the open secret of why people keep getting poisoned around him in our real world right now. Like,
yeah, if the Hunger Games was the real world, there would be internet memes about how every time you cross President Snow, you get a mysterious death.
Yeah, this would be like if Finnick got on TV and was like, by the way, I have a secret to tell you. Remember that guy that tried to kill Putin with a big rebellion who died in a plane crash? It was actually Putin's deal. Like, yeah, I know. We all saw it.
Everyone made jokes at the time about how this was going to happen, and that it did.
Yeah. I guess the one thing that he does is kind of make him look like because he like apparently coughs blood all the time, which I don't remember if he had done it before.
He did
this point in this movie.
He did it once last movie.
Okay, yeah. So that was the explanation there. I can't wait to see in this next movie, in not in this next one of these, but in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, this classic Han Solo moment where someone gives him his first rose and also his first vial of poison, and he looks at them both in each hand and has like a realization, right? You know?
Oh, the smell is really distracting me right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, someone's gonna be like, his mentor will be like, every time I want to poison somebody, I count the stem of a rose because the smell disguises the poison.
Oh my god, it's definitely gonna be some bullshit like that. Oh, I can't. The other book exists, right? That this new one's based on.
Yeah, it is. It is a book that she wrote.
All right. Have you read it?
No,
I don't think so. Right?
No, this only came out like a few years ago, and I read them all like around when Mockingjay came out.
Gotcha. So people that have read these right now are like, no, that is exactly what happens. They're like screaming at their podcasting equipment, and good for you. Fine listener who's listened to these movies already or has read them. Or listened.
Who's read these
people
movies
like Audible,
already?
you know, or read them. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it does feel like
I only watch movies by downloading these screenplays and reading them.
Yeah, I mean, listen. That'd be kind of cool. I could see that being interesting. I've seen Jurassic Park enough. I'd like to listen to the screenplay, maybe not read it.
I mean, reading the screenplay of a movie can be a very interesting and enlightening process, but I wouldn't say it's the primary way by which I would like to experience movies.
Yeah, that's true. But I also think from what I've gotten, this book is not as good, or this book is better than the movie, it seems like. It seems like some of the supplementary material would make the movie better. Is that the vibe you're getting, Diggins, as the person that's read the books?
It's been a while since I read this book, so I don't want to make any sweeping statements about it. I do feel like the general consensus is that it's weaker than the other two. So, like, that might also be part of the problem here.
I guess I mean more like when you're looking at this whole... all the Hunger Games books versus all the Hunger Games movies. Is this a situation where you're like, they pretty much got it? Or you like, they missed enough things that I think, like, not just like a Tom Bombadil situation, but like they cut out enough of the plot that I don't think watching the movies is as good as reading the books.
Well, I think they pretty much got it. I mean, I think you might get some more out of reading the book just because there's always going to be more detail in a book than in a movie, just by the nature of those two mediums.
Mm-hmm. Do you think this could have used a Tom Bombadil cameo?
Yes, I mean every movie could.
Yeah.
But no, I don't feel like you've substantially missed out on the experience by only watching the movie.
That's nice.
We need like a Hunger Games like Cimmerillion that just really gets into the everything with all the districts.
Yes, if there's one thing that people demand, it's lore. We don't want any stories. We don't want any plot. We just want more lore.
You're damn right.
Well, lots of mysteries. You know what though? To be fair, I honestly would kind of like to see like the Mitch's Hunger Games. You know, if they started doing some of these historical Hunger Games and it was just a movie of an origin of Finnick or origin of Haymitch, I'd watch that because that'd be kind of interesting. I'd wonder what the Hunger Games of it is like, and also seeing these characters as younger. I think that could work. Honestly, it's dumb that they did it with President Snow. He's the only character that I'm like less interested in.
I'm pretty sure I got this guy down. I'm pretty sure I know his deal.
He's like the Joker plus president. He has roses and stuff. Whatever. I don't know. He's fine. Like I like him in these. I think Donald Sutherland's doing a way better job than I would expect. Not like way better job because he's a good actor, but he's putting a character together that has a lot more going on than I would expect from one of these guys. But yeah, I think almost any tribute that we know now, their origin story would be kind of fun to watch. I want to watch the one where fucking Jeffrey Wright electrocutes a bunch of people. That'd be pretty cool.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. But
that'd be fun.
That's what they should do. They should make kind of like The Boys does this pretty well, where they'll make like fake versions of things. Like they have like the fake news show. They did like a fake sports center that I could watch clips of all the Hunger Games where people won them, and like with a couple of guys, like what's his name, the Tooch, just narrating it and kind of play by playing some of the classic Hunger Games maneuvers. I'd love to see that. And not just the Tooch, obviously Arnim Zola gets to come too, but mostly the Tooch.
Well, we can leave him behind. I'm Team Tooch.
That's fair. Get Tooch and then like a real broadcaster, like Stephen A. or something. Just work him into this universe. He'd be at the Capitol for sure.
Caesar, I want to address the issue.
Finnick O'Shea is the best tribute that's ever existed. I will not take any questions about that. Oh, man. That would be funny, though, because every year Stephen A. would come in with like, I think it's tribute District 1's year again. And every year it wouldn't be that. And I'd be like,
yeah, he'd be so wrong.
They have so much raw talent. The stats are incredible. Why are they losing every year? It's because they're all monster men. And then there'd be like, there'd be Stephen A. and then there'd be the other guy's name I already forgot. He was just like, they got to get in the trees. I don't know what to tell you. The trees are the way to go. That's fundamentals. It's like, I don't care about that. Maybe we'll get it in this one. I don't know. But hey, anything else? What are your thoughts? So DJ, having never seen either, because have you watched the next one yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
What are your expectations for Mockingjay Part 2?
So Snow's gonna die. That's a given. I guess like the question is like, is it gonna be like, oh, District 13 institutes like, okay, does Snow die early, like at the beginning of the movie? Then they try District 13's way and everyone hates it. Then they turn on Coin, and then Katniss is like the new leader. Because like they have Peeta. I assume at the start of the movie, Peeta's better. And like we fixed him. So all that's left is like you have to go to the Capitol and just defeat Snow. So maybe they do that quick, and then is the whole movie about beating Snow, or is the whole movie about deciding the future of Pan Am?
I gotta say, DJ, I'm not saying if you're wrong or right.
Okay.
How funny it would be. It would be a Professor Hulk level like hilarious thing if the next movie starts and they're just like, Peeta's good now.
Yeah, they go to a diner and Peeta's eating a big plate of eggs, and he's like, I did actually, you know what? I did therapy off screen and it's better now. Isn't it good that I'm Peeta again?
Yeah, you know,
and I'm a big giant man now.
Plutarch said that he was going to work on a cure, and he did it. I'm so glad. We never have to bring this up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that what you're saying makes sense. Wait, so which one do you think it is? If you had to guess, do you think the next movie is mostly Hunger Games, like fighting and stuff, or mostly politics stuff?
I think it's going to be mostly politics-y. Like, I don't think it's going to be mostly fighting.
Okay.
All right.
And then Diggins, having read the book, you probably more or less know what it is.
Yeah, I
so
feel like if I
we will
guessed, it
see.
would give things away.
Yeah, so we'll let DJ find out on his very own.
Can't wait.
I can't wait for you to see it. But until then, but before then, do you want to?
Oh, all right.
Right, yeah, right.
Hey.
All right. So you guys want to get to our classic segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's recommend some things to the fine people. DJ, do you have anything to recommend?
Yeah, well, so you mentioned Rick and Morty earlier. Right? Was that on the show?
I did.
Was off air, I believe.
Whoopsie. Hey, the new Rick and Morty season came out, and
didn't it?
Episode 1's pretty good. Little fun celebrity cameo in there. I won't spoil for anyone who hasn't seen it.
While we were off mic, DJ was talking at length about how disappointed he was that Justin Roiland is no longer a voice actor in it, and that how he thinks the artistic contributions of doing the Rick and Morty voices is far more important than whatever allegations might be leveled against him.
It's just not the same.
By the way, speaking of that, did you guys see Kevin Spacey's back?
What? No.
I know.
Impossible.
I know. He did a speech at a college or something. Those videos, those like threat videos he made worked.
Was it one of those fake colleges? Was it Trump University?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. No, it was Oxford, which is, it's kind of a fake college when you look at it. Apparently now, but yeah, he did a lecture at Oxford about cancel culture. And did some Shakespeare and apparently got a standing ovation.
At
I know.
Oxford? Really?
I know. Apparently he was
Absolutely
acquitted
incredible.
of sexual assault by a UK jury in July. I don't know what that means for all the rest of it or whatever, because that could mean a lot of things. But as far as people I never thought would be back, as implausible as Mel Gibson was, Kevin Spacey was at the top of that list.
Yeah, that's like actually insane.
And he's back. So, yeah. Anyway, so you
right. So yeah, Rick and Morty. No, I mean, I think the new people that they got for it, you wouldn't tell. So that's a good thing. But yeah, it's I give this episode a 6 out of 10. But it's back, and I'm generally usually excited for Rick and Morty. It's a show I enjoy. I also started playing the new Spider-Man game, which is awesome. I mean, I'm only an hour in, but the opening sequence enough is for me to be this game rules. It's so I think even the web swinging is somehow smoother than the first game. Although I did turn the accessibility help me the most all the way down, so that's probably why.
But I didn't know there's a thing you do. That's cool.
Oh yeah, you can actually change the difficulty of the web swinging, where it's game help me versus game hinder me.
Wait.
Add wind resistance.
Wait, are you saying that you made it help you a lot or stop helping you?
It helps me the most. It helps me as much as it can possibly help me.
Because you said you turned it all the way down, which makes it sound like you turned the assist off.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, it's weird. The lower it is, the more it helps you.
No, yeah, but DJ, you could have done it the other way and had it be the difficulty where you have to physically, shake your controller in the direction of wherever you want the webs to go or something. That'll
exactly
happen one of these days.
Nando and Diggins, what's great about this game? You really feel like you're Spider-Man.
You feel like for something for everybody too.
And there's something for everybody. Yeah, something for everybody.
Would you say that you feel like you're Spider-Man too?
Well, since there are 2 Spider-Men, then I do feel like I am Spider-Man too. Now, which Spider-Man do I feel more like? I'll leave that for the listeners to decide. But yeah, it's great. So yeah, those are my recommendations. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Yeah,
Diggins. What about
Diggins,
you?
go ahead.
All right. Well, very concise. I watched a little TV show that just premiered recently. Listen, if you have any animation sickos in your life, then there's a strong possibility they've already mentioned this to you. But if you don't have any animation sickos in your life, then on Max, there was a show that just premiered called Scavenger's Reign.
Oh, I've heard of this. Is it cool?
It is very cool. That's Reign, cool. REIGN, by the way.
Yeah,
like
this
a
looks
monarch.
interesting.
Yeah, it's an animated show about basically the crew of this spaceship that crash landed on a very strange alien and hostile planet. And it's about them surviving and trying to get back home. But that's like, the show has a plot, and I think the plot is good and interesting, but this isn't a show you watch for its plot. This is a show you watch because it has some beautiful and surreal visuals. Like, there is so much imagination that went into the conception of like what this world and its wildlife is. That is like, it all has its own kind of like logic to it, but it's very alien in ways that are like fascinating to just like see, and it's all animated in this way that like really helps emphasize and give weight to that sort of alien feeling of it. And it's super compelling. Like, it's beautiful to watch, and also it's very, very show don't tell. Where it's like everything is about impressions, and it's not like so far on that where like there is dialogue, the characters do talk to each other, and it's pretty clear like what is happening in any given scene. But like so much of things are left to impression or suggestion, or just like the backstory of these characters, their thoughts and feelings are like so much part of the texture of the show and less about those explicit text or the plot. And it's just, I was like riveted. It's a 3 episodes of it. They aired 3 episodes to start. It just premiered the other day. Um and like I was gripped the whole time. It's a great show.
Nice.
Awesome.
So that's Scavenger's Reign on Max.
On Psy Max.
You got to get the Psy in,
yeah.
because like, why? But what about you, Nando? Did you have anything to recommend?
Yeah, I've got a couple things. I'll co-sign Spider-Man. I'm further than DJ. I've been playing it for maybe like 4 or 5, well, probably maybe 6 or 7 hours today, actually. But I've been kind of taking my time. So like not going through the story. I also can't always tell what the game wants me to do. Like sometimes I can tell.
Help
sometimes. Well, there's that. Well, it's funny now they've kind of switched those missions out with firefighter missions where the firefighters call you and they're like, hey, some arsonists are trying to get us. And it's like, yeah, I'll listen to them. They seem like they know what they're talking about. But that seems like it was a direct a response to that. But also, there's like, you switch between Miles and Peter, and sometimes there's like a big set piece fight where it does that for you, but sometimes you're just supposed to pick who you want to be and what missions you want to follow. And I do think a lot of the times I'm doing a mission, I'm like, oh, this isn't important. I should be doing a Peter mission right now, or the opposite. But yeah, the game is great. I mean, I'm surprised, like, as much as the swinging is good, the flying is incredible. Like, I've had so much fun flying around. It almost made me not want to do the swinging. And like, I don't know what character this would be, but it's like, because it's not quite what Superman does. It is like gliding, like Moon Knight. I don't know, but like I kind of want, or like Batman, but Batman doesn't glide like this.
I was gonna say Batman in those Arkham games does some gliding.
Yeah, this is closer to what Moon Knight does in the end of his show, where he like gets a big gust of wind, opens up his cape, and then just like flies, kind of. But yeah, like I need a game of this would work as its own thing. But yeah, it's very fun. I love going through New York and finding all the landmarks, so still doing that. Haven't gone to Coney Island yet. I got to do that soon, but I think maybe my next mission is going to take me there. I also think the story's great. Like parts of the story that I've done that are like the boring parts where you just walk. They've done some interesting things with those that are pretty fun. But yeah, so there's that. That's great. I finished the 3rd season and final, I think, of that show, the other 2, which I've been recommending for a while. I think the 3rd season is the funniest. I think it really gets out there in terms of like almost existing in the 30 Rockiverse, where everything's kind of silly and heightened to the point where like before it was a little bit that where you were a little bit like, man, people aren't paying attention to this one character. That's pretty weird. Where now it's like, this is like a parody of a different genre, and it's hard to explain, but it's great. I love it. And I think everybody in that show is really funny. I watched a movie that I watched it last week and I didn't recommend it. I feel bad about this, but that's still time before Halloween because it's like a horror adjacent movie. It's called Totally Killer. Have either of you guys seen this or seen ads for this?
No.
I don't believe so.
So it's Kieran Shipka, little Sabrina, the new one, like the kid Sabrina show. Now Melissa Joan Hart. Yeah, Melissa Joan Hart plays a teenager in high school again. But it's like I don't want to spoil it because I think it is fun and it's not really a horror movie. It is kind of, but like that's not what it's going for. But it's like a slasher movie that is something else. And once you start seeing it, you'll kind of get it. I don't think it's like perfect. And I think, in fact, there's a lot of like really strange editing choices and stuff like that I wish they could tighten up because the parts of this movie that work, I think, are great. The parts that don't, I'm like, oh, this is a little weird. But overall, I think it's pretty fun. And it's on Amazon, I think, or something. So it's pretty easy to find. And yeah, I would recommend that to people. And then other things that I want to recommend that I haven't done yet is comics. I went to Comic-Con. Obviously, that's where I got this fancy new coronavirus. Well, not new, old coronavirus, but the new variant of it.
It's the most
you want to get all those variants while you're at Comic-Con. Yeah, that's fair. And there are a couple of comics that I got that I hadn't read or had read but didn't own. And I read them online knowing I would buy them eventually. The Wonder Woman comic, number 1 of that, the new Tom King run, is very fun. It's a weird kind of the premise of the book is weird on its own in a way that's good, but it's not just like the Greek god Ares is back again. It's something else, and it's very Tom King, like it's very political. And I don't mean that in the way that it's like political in the sense that it's very much about politics in a way that's kind of cool.
Oh, is it about cancel culture?
That's right. Lex Luthor comes back and he looks kind of like he did in one movie and he gives us a big speech. I mean, honestly, there's a character in this that I'm like, that could, yeah. Well, if you read it, I think people like this book a lot. Like, I think it's getting a lot of attention, so I don't think I need to hype it up that much, but it's good. I also got the cover because I picked this up at a table from Daniel Nakamura, I think is his name, who's a great artist who does all of the, I mean, he does a lot of stuff. And one of the things he did was the Hellfire Gala covers that look like the front of like a Vogue magazine with like little, like fake article things on top of it. And those are like some of my favorite comic covers in a while. So I was very excited to buy one of those. But yeah, so he did a Wonder Woman cover. So I was able to pick that up, which was nice because it was sold out when I went to try to get it at my store. And then the other comic I want to recommend is the new Transformers comic from Daniel Warren Johnson, which Daniel Warren Johnson, if people don't know, is like the hottest shit right now. He's so good. I think he's done a couple of books. He did a Beta Ray Bill book that I love. He did Do a Power Bomb, which I love. And then another book that I haven't read that I hear is fun. But this is like that, but Transformers. And I only have one issue. I'm not sure if the second one's out, but I was able to get some variants from artists I really like, Rod Rice and Maria Wolf, that are just very cool. The Transformers look cool, but they're also like guys that like it's cool to see in different styles. Because you can do a lot of different things with them. Sometimes they're guys and sometimes they're like fancy planes. So I like those. I recommend the book in general, but like the Wonder Woman one, it just started. The only other thing I want to recommend is I'm reading the MCU book, but I'm only up to like, Hulk, Incredible Hulk. However, there's a lot of preamble and stuff that happens before that, but I like it so far. I think it's really interesting. But I'll probably have more to say about it once I finish it. And I'm curious about what like the end stuff is, because it's just really a weird story. But it's a good book, and you learn a lot about how much of a disaster Marvel was back in the 90s, which is always fun.
So you don't think it's some kind of hit piece by a disgruntled fan or whatever?
Well, it's funny because like originally, so this person, Joanna Robinson, at least, she's the one who I've seen talk about it. They interviewed hundreds of people for this, and originally they were like kind of they called everybody, like they called all the actors, all the directors, all the writers, and like producers, people that were like critics, I guess, and people that knew them. And then they got interviews with them. And originally Marvel was like, don't do interviews with these people for the reasons you'd expect. Like, we don't want trade secrets and like we don't want bad stories about us to get out. But then later, for whatever reason, they just decided to let them do interviews. They were like, yeah, actually, you know what? Don't bother. we'll talk to you. So like Kevin Feige gets interviewed as part of this. Like there's a lot of stuff from the inside that makes you like, I feel like it would function as a hit piece eventually when failures start popping up, especially later in the game. It'll probably, I could see fans getting defensive of it. But in the beginning, it does make you kind of appreciate Kevin Feige as this really weird, like right place, right time kind of guy who like trained under, whatever her name is. I can't remember. Donna Schuler, the producer of the Superman movies, and like, knew a couple of comic book people. And then when they started making X-Men, he was like, I'll do it. And then he was producer there. And yeah, it's a fascinating story. And it is, it's become the dominant media force of our time. So I think it's interesting for that reason too. But yeah, so the book is cool. Next week we are doing Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. We will finish Hutchtober until the last one.
Finish the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Damn right.
Very excited about that. Do you guys have anything to plug, DJ?
Yeah, check out Roses and Rejections. Our next episode, which will be out next week, I'm gonna give a little tease. We're gonna have a special guest on.
You tease.
Yeah, and it's a big deal guest that we're very excited for. And
Brad Pitt.
Damn it, Diggins.
Is it a certain actor that just got uncanceled as far as he's concerned?
I mean, why
on the recovery
would I give
tour?
that one away? But yeah, and we're gonna be talking some we've covered before, but a little bit off the beaten of typical Roses and Rejections. I would say if you're a fan of a certain Netflix show regarding the culinary arts, maybe you'll be interested in this. So yeah, really excited.
You're doing a whole episode on Emily and Perry.
Oh, she does love to eat.
Yeah.
She loves to French food is so fun. It's good for Instagram too, which is really what Emily values in Perry.
Paris is, of course, the home city of hot cuisine. So
that's right, and she's in love with the chef in the first couple of seasons. Actually, Matthew, I think is his name or something.
It all adds up.
It all connects.
Maybe that's the actor's name. I can't remember. He's a French guy. There's a lot of French people in that show.
Really?
Maybe too many if you ask me.
Paris?
Yeah. Listen, it's a good show. I like that show a lot. I can't pretend I don't like it.
I thought the official line was that it's a show you like a lot, but it's not a good show.
Like, it's a well-made show that is good, but it's not good. Also, I got it confused. There is a Matthew in it. He's a different guy. I'm thinking of Gabrielle. That's the guy I'm thinking of. It's hard to keep all the hunks in order. There's just so many of them.
Just like like in real life.
Like real life, yeah, exactly. Well, that sounds fun. So it's next week's one or this week's one?
Next week's one, yeah.
Okay.
So I'll probably mention again on next week's of our pod. So yeah.
Diggins, what about you? Got anything to plug?
Nope. What about you, Nando?
I thought I would have more. Well, not I thought I would have more. I would have more were it not for the wonderful coronavirus variant I got at Comic-Con. I would have probably recorded and had most of my Booster Gold fan casting video edited by now, but my voice was bad and it's not great, but it's better enough now that this might be done. Like I might have the golden boost chiller, which is what we're calling it, fan casting video out before the next podcast comes out, but it definitely won't be out if you're listening to this one when it releases. And by out, it'll be on Nebula by then. I'm starting to figure out other videos for later in the year. I was thinking about maybe like what could the Young Avengers story be? Because it does seem like we might be getting one of those, but I don't know. I'm still kind of up in the air. So if anybody has any suggestions, things they want to talk about, find me on Twitter. And then, I did have a Nando Cut video. Like I said, I had a couple of those that came out about Loki, which is one of them was just like, did I miss a Loki episode? Because Loki was weird. And one of them was about the Wonder Man show being canceled, being a bummer, and like this weird Daredevil situation. I'll probably have another one of these out about Loki episode 3. That will probably come out around the same time this comes out. But yeah, I just haven't been able to record anything because of the coronavirus. So blame that. But yeah, so next week, Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Until then, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Also, by on Twitter, I mean on Twitter and Blue Sky if Twitter starts charging money, because it seems like they are.
Oh, we are so there, man.
So close. They just he's got 2 months to destroy it, so my prediction will come true.
He's really trying. Like, I've declared multiple times that I will be on that rotten hell site until it's dead, and he's really trying to make a liar out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Will you pay for it?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
If that happens, then I will break my promise.
Yeah, 100%. But anyway, yeah, so those are our names. I will see you next week, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.